Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Okay, guys, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I just can't do this anymore. You know, the whole Israel thing is really just kind of out of control. It really, really is just foobar. And it's a tough topic, right? Because I'm going to be real honest. It doesn't matter what you say on the topic of Israel. Everybody's fussy all the time about it. You're going to have half the people in the universe pissed off. And much like Israel's existence, there's no winning, right? It's just something that there's just always conflict on. And I'm not an expert in Israel. I don't spend all my time studying Israel. I support people, believing how they want. I believe Jewish, people of Jewish faith are, God says, his chosen people living, the descendants of Abraham, that sort of stuff. But at the same time, the nation of Israel is broken. It's corrupt as hell. And, this whole thing just seems ridiculous to me. So I'm going to talk about Israel today. And I'm going to just tell you right now, I am not, nor do I even have any interest in being an expert on all things Israel. I just am not. But at some point, the corruption is so manifest and it's impacting things here in the U.S. that I just feel like we got to talk about a few things on it. And this stuff is really kind of indisputable. I mean, it just is what it is. So I'm going to talk about some evidence. I'm going to talk about some this, talk about some that. And this is a good primer course for anybody who's trying to figure out what's going on with Israel. And I know a lot of you guys are already, a lot of guys that watch this, a lot of you people are very, very good. My people, my fans, you guys probably know more about this than I do. So feel free, get in the comments, tell me what I don't know, talk to me about this. But let's have a real talk about it. Let's have a conversation about this because we need to. Now, I don't support any of this terrorist nonsense that's occurring in the Middle East, but I also don't support killing women and children in Gaza. I don't support what's going on from either side. I just think the whole thing is corrupt. I absolutely support the right of the Jewish people to exist and the nation of Israel to exist and the nation of Israel to defend itself. I just don't support the BS, the garbage, the lies. I don't support Israel buying company after company after company and surveilling American citizens, trying to manipulate American media, trying to manipulate American elected officials. I don't support that at all. ASIP, yeah, it should be registered as a foreign agent. It is. It is. Let's not play stupid about this. But at the same time, the problem is that on one side, we've got a nation that is wildly corrupt. On the other side, we got a group of people who are really discriminating against. I mean, listen, I am not okay with genocide on any side. I don't hate anybody. I just want people to be able to live their lives freely. But that's not happening. And it's not happening anywhere. And we're just going to dig into this. And I expect people to be pissed at me no matter what I say, but I kind of just don't care. So we're going to get into the whole thing anyways. But we're going to get into Israel. We're going to get into the DOJ. Another thing, everybody tells me that I should be super excited because Comey's been indicted. I'm not. It's 2 counts. 2 counts. Unless they've got a superseding indictment and unless they're going to do something more, it's a nothing burger. Now, if this is a setup, and a lot of people say, Rens, it's part of a plan. They're going to try and get Comey to talk so that they can get Brandon and Obama and all these. Good. If that's the case, good. Right now, I've got a DOJ that's done nothing this far. And there's plenty of opportunity. It's interesting. This only happens after Donald Trump says, hey, Bondi, are you ever going to do anything? And then she comes out with this 2-count crap indictment. I mean, the number of things that Comey could have been indicted for, I don't know. I'd run out of time to list them all. But instead, we've got 2 counts. 2 counts, and we're going to get into that. So, I mean, listen, I'm tired of being told that I have to be a fan of anything. I don't have to be a fan of crap. At the end of the day, this Hamas terrorist nonsense from Palestine is garbage. Does Israel have a right to defend itself? Yeah. But is Israel funding Hamas? Looks like it. Looks like it. Netanyahu admitted it. So, I mean, it's just not a good situation. I don't have to be a fan of a 2-count crap indictment just because it was the first thing that the DOJ's done since they started. It's crap. Plus, hey, anybody remember Diddy? The Diddy case that we threw? just because the indictment's filed doesn't mean they're going to actually prosecute it well. They can throw this case just like the last one. Listen, we got to keep pressure on this DOJ, and I'm gonna. So anyways, we're going to dig into everything. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a controversial story. Probably a barn burner. Just keep the comments going. I'll try and check in on the comments here and there. Before I do, we got to have your support. So please, givesendgo.com/Renslaw. We're going to need some donations after this show because I figure we're going to make everybody mad. Givesendgo.com/Renslaw. Listen, we're going to keep fighting for the truth. I don't care if anybody likes it or not. I don't care if it's convenient or not. I don't care if it's politically palatable or not. I'm not trying to be a fan of anybody. I'm just trying to get to truth and preserve the future for my kids. If you believe in that and if you believe in what we're doing, please support us. Givesendgo.com/Renslaw. We desperately do need your support. Also, go to TomRenz.com, www.tomrenz.com, and support us everywhere there. But go shop partners and affiliates, and scroll down. Block Trust IRA, all good. DALSA, great. Love, Earth Harmony, all these things. You got to check out the checkout code. You get discount, right? Code RENZ. RENZ 10. You got to look and see what it is. We get all these. Today, we're highlighting Ness's Hemp. Ness's Hemp is really, really a wonderful product. It's not like other hemp products. Nessa, Nessa does a wonderful job with this. Cold presses this stuff, keeps the CBDA intact. It's not something that's going to get you all high and messed up. What it is something that's going to really help you because it's processed in a healthy, natural way. It's a wonderful product. Make sure you're checking it out. Ness's Hemp. Use Ness's Hemp. Hashtag Tom Renz, claim 10% discount use Renz at checkout. Just use Renz at checkout. You can follow our link here, but use Renz at checkout. You get discounts. It's a great product. All right. Let's get into this, okay? So Netanyahu was speaking today, and let's get a little background. I got a whole ton of notes on this because this is not an issue that I've spent. I got to be honest with you guys. We need to fix our country, and it's a mess. And so I'm not spending an immense amount of time on Israel. I'll worry about Israel after we finish fixing America. Right now, America's a mess. And if you believe in America first, maybe we should be thinking more about that than Israel. But we keep going back to Israel because for some reason, well, we know why. Because much like Big Pharma, Israel has an immense amount of power and sway over our legislature because they're a very powerful lobby. They really are. And, I understand a lot of the good Jewish people in this country, and they're wonderful. Some of my best wonderful friends. I support the Jewish people, but they by default they always want to support Israel, and I understand that. I support Israel's ability to fight and to be a country. What I don't support is their corruption, and we've got to distinguish between the two. And I'm starting to think that Netanyahu is one of the most corrupt leaders in the universe. That doesn't mean I don't support the nation of Israel, but I don't support what's going on with this corruption. So let's look at this. So we got Israel, Hamas, right? This whole thing going on. And 25th, which is yesterday, Trump says he's going to block any annexation of the West Bank. He does not support it, right? He doesn't like it, doesn't support it, does not want Israel, taking over the West Bank. Now, Trump is trying to stabilize the region. He wants peace. He wants stability. He wants energy to go in and out of there. He just wants peace. He's trying to avoid war. He's been doing that across the board. He got pushed into, dropping a couple bombs on Iran. He did it, moved on. That's the end of it. But he says, listen, we aren't going to do this. We're not going to support this. Okay, so that makes sense to me, right? Now, today, Netanyahu gets up there at the UN, and he goes in, and a bunch of the people from the UN just leave. I mean, they snubbed him. It was really kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's embarrassing, and it's got to be a little creepy if you're Israel. I mean, listen, if you're Israel, you got to start asking yourself, is our leadership doing right by us? And it's a fair question. I mean, it's some of the stuff that's come out about Netanyahu is really not good. And you can support the country of Israel, and you can support Jewish people, and still think Netanyahu's a crooked piece of crap. And I'm starting to think that. I just really am. But I supported America even when Joe Biden was president. But we were certainly the most corrupt nation on the planet when Joe Biden was running us, right? So no difference here. I can still support a nation. And this is one of the things that we get wrapped up in. And for a lot of people who are looking at this objectively, what I see is wild claims where they say they hate Israel and the Jewish people are horrible and this are horrible and that's horrible. And I can't support that. Being Jewish doesn't make you a horrible person. Listen, it's a religion. Being any religion doesn't make you a horrible person. It's what you do with it, right? I mean, I'm Catholic. I don't support pedophile priests, right? I mean, you can't judge everybody because of their faith. We got a massive pedophilia problem in the Catholic Church. I'm not leaving the church, and I'm not knocking the church, and I shouldn't be judged because my church has got a bunch of perverts in it. I believe in what the church teaches. I used to. I mean, I don't believe in this reform crap that they've got, but I mean, what the Catholic Church originally stood for. But, you can't do that. I just don't agree with it. I can, however, look at the policy. So Netanyahu gets up here, and, Netanyahu, the guy who was funding Hamas, and we're going to get to that in a minute, gets up here and he says, Israel's going to finish the job in Gaza. And he wants to eliminate Hamas entirely. Well, why the hell did you fund them? Why did you give them $1 bazillion? If now you want to eliminate them, you want to extinct them? Okay, well, I can get behind the fact that if you're a part of Hamas, you probably shouldn't be there. But why were you funding them? He gets have recognized Palestine. That he's compared it to granting Al Qaeda a state near New York after 9/11. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know that I would say that's a fair comparison, in part because I don't even know that I believe the 9/11 narrative anymore. 9/11 seems like quite a few inconveniences, including Building 7. Anybody? Listen, I know some of you guys are, Renz is waking up. Yeah, I know. I'm a little late to the party, but yeah, 9/11, I believe nothing about that. So I also don't believe October 7th was exactly what it appeared. Did innocent people die in 9/11? 100%. Did innocent people die on October 7th? 100%. Were both incidents tragic and abhorrent? Yeah, 100%. But were either of them what they appeared? No. No, 9/11 was not what it appeared. And I don't think October 7th was either. Let's just put it out there, right? But both were used to try and restructure a nation. We passed the Patriot Act. We passed the Real ID Act, which we're now implementing. We passed all sorts of crap in the wake of 9/11 to keep us safe, right? Israel's used October 7th for all sorts of things just like that. And we went to war over 9/11, didn't we? Lots of wars. Israel's done the same. Seems like a narrative to me, doesn't it? Anybody got any questions about this?
Keep us safe.
I'm not sure I trust any of this. It seems like there's some real issues here. And I don't trust any of it, frankly. It all seems shady. So I don't think the comparison's real good, but there is some comparison. But the comparison I would say is that both 9/11 and October 7th were not what they appeared. We're going to get into October 7th in a minute. This morning, Netanyahu blasts his speech through these loudspeakers all over everywhere, and actually, is talking to the hostages, which. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I don't understand the whole hostage things. Why wouldn't they just release the hostages? It's just an excuse for what's going on. Get rid of them. Let them go. So you got all that. And then, he went out there and he high-fives Trump on some things like, bombing Iran, but then just ignores everything Trump had to say on this whole Gaza thing. So this was really, Netanyahu saying, well, piss off. Well, here's the deal, Ben. You want to tell America to piss off? How about we cut your funding? Maybe we cut funding, right? Maybe we just do that, right? I see. If I were president, that's kind of where I'm at on this. I support the Jewish people. I support Israel, but I'm going to cut funding if you're going to keep this kind of crap up. Make it hurt, because the reality is that it's only through U.S. funding that Israel's able to do this crap. And I don't like it. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like his, the way he's acting in and around Trump, with Trump's done, all that stuff is ridiculous. So, listen, meanwhile, you got a bunch of, the people in Israel. You've got some pushback in Israel, saying that, we got to keep going on this. And Israel's exactly what you'd expect. It's kind of like America after 9/11. You got a group of people say, yeah, we got to wipe these guys out, kind of like we did. But then you got a group of people calling for restraint and things like that. So, it's no different, right? So Israel's a mess right now. But let's go back to this. Right? I want to talk about Hamas because right now, you've got Netanyahu doing all the things he's doing, claiming that he has to deal with this Hamas crisis. Okay, let's look at that, right? Let's look at that. So Netanyahu, we've got it out there. It's established. And I looked at this to double check it. Netanyahu gave a whole bunch of money to Qatar, 15 to 30 million monthly. And he gave it to Qatar to support Hamas in Gaza. So he was knowingly funneling money through Qatar to support Hamas. Now, this is Netanyahu, who is now just killing everybody in Gaza under the guise that he's got to destroy Hamas. But he funded them. He facilitated this. He supported this, much like I've heard, that the U.S. facilitated some of the Al-Qaeda stuff here and there, right? This looks like a replay pre 9/11, right? 2018, there's a letter that's been reported by Yonhap News, right? This is the Israeli outlet. They urge Qatar to send $30 million monthly to Gaza. Now, apparently, Netanyahu is claiming this is going to preserve regional stability. So he's over there pushing money to Hamas through Qatar. Now, by the way, that $30 million monthly he's sending was probably from U.S. aid, but, neither here nor there. So he explicitly approved these Qatari transfers in August of 2018. And they were up to 30 million by 2023, the monthly infusions, right? So he's sending a lot of money to Hamas, a lot of it. Now, this is really, really crazy. Now, the Times in Israel has got all this stuff, and they put it out there. It shows Netanyahu's aides praising Qatar for a lot of this stuff, and saying that this whole thing is great. By 2023, they've transferred somewhere between $1 and $2 billion to Hamas through Qatar. $1 to $2 billion. These are the same people that he's now justifying, destroying, killing all these people because they're doing exactly what he funded them to do. It makes no sense, right? Twice, so there's been reports out of Israel. There's a whole bunch of stuff come out of Israel on this. There were a bunch of reports came out that the money he was giving was being, back in 2019, 2020, there were a bunch of reports coming out that the money he's giving Qatar was going to the military wing, right? That this going to this military. And it's not like we don't know this, right? It's not like anybody wouldn't know this. No matter where the money went, Hamas is going to use that money. Here's the budget trick, right? Hamas, you can't use this money for anything military. Okay, so you give them a bunch of money. Well, what does that do? That frees up their budget. So if you give them 30 million, instead of spending 30 million on the military, they put your 30 million into humanitarian aid, but they cut their spending on humanitarian aid and instead use their money for the military. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's irrelevant. But we're supposed to pretend that that Netanyahu didn't know that was happening. We're supposed to pretend that he had no clue, that this was, he had no idea, right? Now, 2019, in a private meeting, Netanyahu said, quote, anyone who wants to thwart the establishment of a Palestinian state has to support bolstering Hamas and transferring money to Hamas. This is part of our strategy to isolate the Palestinians in Gaza from Palestinians in the West Bank. So this was reported in a bunch of different places, right? Now, meanwhile, despite the fact that Netanyahu is saying we're supporting Hamas so that we can wipe out any hope of a Palestinian state, he's saying that the accusations of him doing and exactly what he said he was going to do were ridiculous. So the guy's lying. He's talking out both sides of his mouth. This isn't like debatable. This is 100% clear. Netanyahu is funding Hamas. Hamas is using that money to do terror. And you can see what's actually happening here, right? Netanyahu is funding these guys because he knows they're going to commit terror, and he knows he can use that terror as a means to justify him doing exactly what he's doing now, wipe them off the map, right? That's what he was.
Rotten traitor.
Yeah, that, right? No question about this. So to me, we're over here trying to figure out what's going on. They tell you, if you don't support Israel, you're anti-Semitic. That's bullcrap. I'm 100% supporter of the Jewish people. I'm not a supporter of the corrupt state of Israel funneling money to a terrorist organization that they know is going to commit terror so that they can use it as an excuse to wipe out a whole group of people. This is horrific. This is horrific. Now, I would love someone to tell me why I've got this wrong. Where am I wrong on this, right? I mean, tell me where I've missed this. Tell me what I've got incorrect on this. In fact, let's, if anybody wants to explain this to me in the comments, please do, because I'm not seeing it. I'm not understanding where the mistakes are. I don't understand how it is that anybody can say, oh, Netanyahu just didn't know. Of course he knew. Now, James Nondescript is saying it's too simplistic. Okay, well, James, tell me. I'm looking. You tell me what I've got wrong here. I know it's simplistic, and I know there's a lot there, but I don't understand what I'm missing here. I don't see what I'm missing. What I do know is that the Israeli intelligence, former Mossad chief David Barnea, met with these guys, and he blamed Netanyahu as one of the main factors in Hamas's rise, right? And that $1 to $2 billion really supported the October 7th thing. Well, of course it supported. That's kind of what it looks like it was meant to do. Now, James says that the former president was actually worse than Hamas. Abbas was actually worse. Maybe. I haven't looked into the former president. I really don't know. What I know is that Netanyahu is, and James says, the goal was to prop up Hamas, hoping they'd be more reasonable. James, I think that's a little bit forgiving, to be honest with you. I mean, I hope you're right, but you thought that giving money to terrorists was going to be a good idea? I just don't see it. This is like us say, well, if we fund Al-Qaeda, they'll prevent a worse terrorist from coming up. When do you trust a terrorist? That's worse. That's like trusting Anthony Fauci with your health care. You don't trust Anthony Fauci with your health care. Why would you, Bill Gates? I'm not trusting Bill Gates on vaccines. Why would I trust a terrorist organization to be better than another terrorist? They're terrorists. So, this whole thing looks like it was just one giant, plan to get an excuse to take these guys out. Now, again, I'm supporting the Israeli people. I'm supporting the Jewish people. I am not supporting Hamas. I'm not okay with them, but I'm also not supporting propping up a terrorist organization as an excuse to kill a whole bunch of people. Why would you do something that's going to result in a war? You don't need this. We don't need that. Why not just trying to find a way to be peaceful with these people? Because that isn't what they wanted. That isn't what they wanted. By the way, James says he agrees with me, and I agree. I understand, James, that I might be a little bit overly simplifying this, but I want to keep this simple. I understand there's so much nuance to this that it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, what I'm seeing is a situation that was created by a corrupt politician, and that corrupt politician was, 100% behind what happened. So let's fast forward, right? Let's fast forward to October 7th. So I'm painting you this picture. So you got Netanyahu funding the terrorists in Hamas, apparently for the sole purpose of having an excuse to wipe them out. I don't know what, because he says he's doing this to prevent a two-state Palestinian solution. Okay, well, that means that you want a war. You want an excuse, because there's either going to be a two-state solution or you're going to have to wipe these people out, because it doesn't seem like there's a way for you guys to peacefully coexist. I mean, you've been trying to do that for I don't know how long, and it's never worked. So then where does that take us? Where does that take us? Well, it takes us to a situation like October 7th. Now, let's talk about October 7th, right? Ben, can we bring this video up? I want to bring this. This is Jim Breuer. I've got a video of my friend Jim Breuer. Jim is, not only is he hilarious, but he's got a good way of actually telling a story that's funny and making this stuff funny. But this is funny the way he's telling it, but it's also a bit absurd. So let's put Jim on screen if we can here, Ben. So this is Jim Breuer. I want to play this video for you.
This is October 7th. So nobody saw this come with all its defense missiles, because they know Hamas is all over the strip. They know Hamas is in Qatar. They know Hamas is everywhere they bombed. They know it was not even in Qatar. It was a certain building. That's how brilliant Israel is. But yet, on October 7th, they didn't see the monkeys flying in with the parachutes. Nobody look here. Are you kidding me? I'd be pissed. If I was from Israel, I'd be like, should we call the police? There's go-karts with parachutes. Are they with us? There's go-karts with parachutes. Should we be notifying people? I mean, didn't we just get $650 million from America? You blew it. You can't see this coming with $650 million, not even talking about all the other money that we've given you. Then you lose it. You lost it. If I give you $8 and you can't make a steak sandwich that I ordered, well, guess what? You ain't getting any more money.
That's right. So, good question. Why are we giving them more money? They aren't doing their job. So let's look at this, right? So you've got these clowns in slow motion. Here's the thing about October 7th that I've never understood. Why is it so, how the hell do they get through the most guarded border on the planet with essentially no resistance at all? Now, interestingly enough, I wanted to look at some stuff. So I started doing some searches, because you guys remember when October 7th happened, all the videos of them, these very slow, very, very slow tractors. I mean, pickup trucks, all these things. They're gonna pierce the most defended border on the planet with pickup trucks, tractors, and slow moving go-karts with parachutes, right? Let me see if I've got this. Let me show you this. Ben, can we bring this back up on screen? I've got a few things we're going to show. So these are images of defenses on the Gaza-Israeli border, right? And I've got this over here. This is cameras, radar, sensors, razor wire, 20-foot high metal fence, underground barrier, underground sensors, and that's only part of it, right? There's machine gun nests, there's missiles. Every 5 feet, they've got more. This is the most defended border on the planet, right? This is a border that is not just, I mean, you wouldn't have anyone getting through the southern border if we did this in America, right? You look at this, and this is all, I mean, look at these walls and these fences. Look at what they've got. And this isn't even all of it, right? Because you've got concrete barriers, you've got all sorts of stuff going, just huge. Now look at this bulldozer just driving through it. How long does it take to get a bulldozer up there to do that? You don't think anybody saw it? How do you not see it when you've got radar, you've got sensors, you've got everything? I mean, they're watching every inch of this 24/7. Look at this stuff. I mean, you can just, and there's a lot of propaganda pics in here, no question. But when we look at the actual defenses, I mean, these things are, look at another wall, more, I mean, it's ridiculous. So you're going to tell me that no one noticed these clowns in pickups and motorcycles driving through this? Nobody noticed, right? Now look at this. Look at this. I said, Google, help me find video, because I ran about 50 different searches. Help me find videos of slow-moving tractors attacking the Gaza-Israeli border, right? They're gone. All the videos, all the images, all the things of this happening in slow motion, gone. They confirmed that some of it happened. They say it was rare. It wasn't that many of them. But they're gone. Like, you can't find it. Everything on the internet is whitewashed on this. I was shocked because I looked at this stuff at October 7th, and I asked these same questions. What do you got? There's nothing, right? Now, where is this? I want to show you this. This is a former Israeli border guard. She's confirming exactly what I said, right? She said, and this is in, it's not in English, but it says it'd be impossible for soldiers to break through these defenses without alerts, right? Why did I say all this? What is my point here, right? What's my point? My point is this. The buildup to October 7th includes Netanyahu saying that we can never the only way to stop a two-state solution is to support Hamas. So he runs money through Qatar to support Hamas. He builds them up. They build up. They plan October 7th. They use tractors, go-karts with parachutes, and freaking pickup trucks to get through the most guarded border on the planet, and nobody's shooting them. There's no missiles, there's no bombs, nobody's blowing these guys up. They're just running right through, no problem. And we're supposed to believe that nobody noticed that? We're supposed to believe that there was no stand down order? What, the radars and the sensors just all broke that day? No, folks, I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I don't believe any of this. This is 100%. This looks to me like an absolute joke. They needed a patsy. They needed an excuse. And the problem is I don't mind. I'm all for Israel defending themselves. That's not what this is. That's not what's going on here. What's going on is you have a crooked leader in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, who instead of saying to his people, listen, you know, there's a threat, there's a problem, we got to find a solution, what do you want to do? Instead of talking about it, instead of telling the truth, the leaders of Israel are just like the leaders in the U.S. They know better than us. They won't tell, they don't care what we the people want. They don't care what the results are. So what they do is they fund this false flag operation. And I believe October 7th about as much as I believe 9/11 at this point. I believe it happened. I believe a lot of innocent people died. And I believe that the innocent Jewish people in Israel suffered. And they suffered because of a plan by Benjamin Netanyahu, a plan that allowed and facilitated the Israeli military standing down so that a bunch of innocent people could be killed so that they could justify the operations that are happening now. Maybe I'm wrong, but tell me why. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm making a mistake on this. How did I get there? And, I can't do much with this. But it makes me ask questions when because Candace Owens been asking questions about Charlie Kirk and whether or not there's a connection. Listen, if you would lie and let thousands of Israeli citizens die so that you could start a war, do I really think you're above assassination? This is making me ask questions, folks. I want to support Israel and I want to support the people of Israel. I want to support the Jewish people. I cannot and will not support the fraud. I cannot support letting innocent people die so that you can kill more innocent people. And yes, there are innocent people everywhere. Now, I've seen what they do to brainwash the kids and how they teach these kids to hate people and what they do in some of these Arab places. And it's sick. So I get that. And I get that. But I'm going to avoid, I'm not responding to JD Couch something. Sometimes you get an interesting comment. And we're gonna let that one slide because I just looked down at the comments and they're interesting. If Israel did in fact support Hamas doing this, and they did stand down, and if October 7th was a false flag operation, then we need to immediately cease support of this government until such time as it's reconstituted. We really do. And I would love anybody to tell me where I'm wrong on this. I mean, I'm just looking at what's out there. I'm just asking questions because I'm going to tell you, I am not an expert in Israel. I'm not an expert in Palestine. I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just a guy asking some questions. But these questions are very relevant and very pointed. And they indicate that there's something wrong. And maybe we need to start asking some questions. I don't know. What I know is that, Donald Trump said he's not okay with this annexation. I support Donald Trump. That much I can tell you. I don't like this dynamic that I'm seeing where Netanyahu keeps telling Trump he's got to give him money, he's got to give him this, he's got to give him that, but then just ignores the things that we're asking. We don't owe them anything. We should support and help protect the Jewish people. I'm okay with protecting the nation of Israel, but protecting and support is different than supporting an aggressive war, especially an aggressive war that was set up on what appears to be a false flag operation. Now, I'm not supposed to say that because it's like questioning 9/11. Oh, you can't question 9/11. Listen, I do question 9/11. And I do question what happened October 7th because I don't see how a bunch of jackasses in pickup trucks were able to breach the most secured border on the planet with no resistance. None. Don't tell me, they trained and yeah, okay. You've got the most secure, all those sensors quit. Nobody noticed. Nobody was watching. Nobody noticed the guys flying over in slow motion. I mean, everyone in Israel is required to spend time in the military. They have a universal dress. So every single person in that country is trained. What, they didn't think a whole group of freaking nutbags and go-karts with parachutes flying over? No one thought, hey, maybe we should look at it like Jim Brewer said? We need to start asking some questions, folks. That's my point. My point is that. Again, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to say, and Blasted Genetic says in the comments, and he's right, why would Israel not shoot those down? The slow-moving go-karts with parachutes, they couldn't shoot them down? You could shoot them down with a BB gun. I mean, for God's sakes, It doesn't take a You've got the most defended border. I mean, they got freaking surface-to-air missiles everywhere there. We've got an Iron Dome in Israel that can shoot down incoming missiles. They couldn't shoot down slow-moving paragliders? Come on, guys. Come on. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's absurd. We all know what's going on here, or we should. If nothing else, we should be asking questions. And if we want to actually support the Jewish people, then we should be asking why it is that however many of them were allowed to be slaughtered on October 7th for what appears to be a 9/11 type false flag. How about that? How about that? Anyways, this whole thing stinks to me. And, I'm sickened by the whole thing. I don't believe any of it. And, we got to start asking some real questions. All right. We're going to transition to my next rant. We're going to transition with this. Ben, can we put this one up on screen? I think this is really an important thing. This was breaking news that I shared today on Twitter. Pete Hegseth has confirmed this. Now, if you're a leftist, you told us all the way through the Biden administration that no matter how much evidence there was that masks were stupid, no matter how much evidence there was that COVID was nonsense or the vaccines were bad, that we have to trust the science, we have to trust the government. So I just want all of you leftists to know that we're taking your advice. I'm trusting Pete Hegseth because he's the government. And that means we got to trust him, right? And so breaking, if you have a penis, you're a man. That's really important. Pete Hegseth has decided this. They did their work. We know that you have to follow them, right? So Pete Hegseth has used his expert resources from our government to determine that men pretending to be women have mental health disorders and that having mentally ill people in the military is probably not good for readiness. I point out the analogy, pretending you're a dinosaur doesn't mean you are. And now because Pete Hegseth said it and he's from our government, we know the science is settled and no one can question the science. So leftists, just newsflash, that is what it is. But I got this clip and I love what Hegseth did here. So let's play this clip here. Let me show you. Let's see here. Let's make this big. And here we go. Ready?
If it were, you would be keeping these women in. Instead, you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
but these are men,
on trans
and so
issues at another
what we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are
Kane
detrimental
now.
to readiness, and that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't.
Okay. So this jackass is going to educate him on trans issues because she's going to tell you that some dude pretending he's a chick is still a dude, is actually a chick. I don't know what I don't really know how she's going to educate anything, but whatever she's going to do, she's going to try and continue to tell you that you can have a weenie and still be a girl, or you can not have a weenie and still be a boy. And I'm pretty sure Hegseth just has settled it, right? Folks, seriously? This woman actually tried to say that Hegseth is hurting readiness by getting rid of people with mental health disorders. How many trannies have to shoot people before we realize that giving trannies guns, maybe not the best idea? I don't know. Training them to training a tranny to be a killer, which is what we do in the military, maybe just not a great idea. I mean, I got an idea. Let's take the people who are responsible for a lot of these shootings. I mean, proportionally, it's ridiculous. And let's train them to be better killers. That seems like a great idea. Oh, we should give them more SSRIs, too, because that'll help. That will definitely help military readiness. Seems like a great idea. What could possibly go wrong with any of that? Congresswoman Jacobs is a moron. And thank you, Pete Hegseth, for confirming that just because you're a man pretending to be a woman doesn't mean you're a woman. All right, science is settled. J6, 274 agents, according to Donald Trump boasted, 274 agents sent to the Capitol for J6. So apparently, all of this stuff about J6 and about it being a setup seems pretty accurate to me, right? Seems pretty accurate. 100%. J6 was always a Democrat plot. It was always just another false flag operation, right? Just like we're talking about. Democrats doing what Democrats do. This is what they do. I don't know what to say about it. You got a bunch of mega protesters don't riot. They don't cause problems. They don't do anything bad. Well, you can see it. Look, place after place. After Charlie Kirk died, how many cities did we burn down? They murder Charlie Kirk, an American hero, an icon. They murder him in cold blood, a 31-year-old dad of two. George Floyd ODs on fentanyl. They blame it on a cop, and the entire country gets burned down because that's what the left does. The right, you've got a 31-year-old dad of two, husband, good man, preaching the gospel, teaching people, peacefully doing good things, literally a benefit to the world. Charlie Kirk was a benefit to the world. They murder him in cold blood. Do you see any riots? Do you see any chaos? What do you see? Nothing. You see vigils, prayers. You see his wife forgive the alleged murderer. That's what we do. J6 didn't happen because of a bunch of MAGA people. J6 happened because a bunch of FBI agents and leftists facilitated it happening. I would wager that if we look, that there is probably none or even less than none evidence of anything being done by any mega people. I'm guessing pretty much everything we saw bad was probably done by leftists. Or FBI agents or plants or whatever. So I mean, this is insane. This whole thing is insane. This whole thing is absurd. And, we really need some jail time on all of the J6 stuff. All right, moving on. All right. We're going to come back to this. I want to get to this, but let's see here. We don't want to get there. We're going to start there in a second. I want to go to the DOJ, right? So James Comey, I want James Comey in jail for a long time. I mean, everything he's done going back, as far as I can know, Bundy Ranch, you've got all sorts of things happening there. You got a Crossfire. The list of things that Comey seems to be involved in that he should be in jail in for a very long time. I couldn't even list them all, right? James Comey gets indicted. 2 counts, right? 2 counts. 1 count of making a false statement to Congress. And that's it. 1 count. And then 1 count of obstruction of a congressional proceeding. Right? That's it. That is a nothing burger. Now, here's the deal. There's something called a superseding indictment. That means that the DOJ could refile a new indictment with a bunch of other stuff. There's things they could do to add to this, essentially, right? Maybe that's going to happen. Now, there's a group of people out there that believe that this was filed to pressure Comey into giving up other people, giving up bigger names. General Flynn has even talked about this, and I love the general and I support the general, and General definitely knows more than I do. But we don't know for sure whether this is part of the strategy or not. Comey, I would argue, he could be charged with treason, fraud, perjury, all sorts of things. RICO, there are tons of things. But instead, we've got a 2-count nothing burger, right? A lot of people have told me that I should quit busting Bondi's chops because she finally put Comey, indicted Comey, and that there's a bunch of other things coming. And I'm going to tell you that I've heard truthfully, from a lot of credible people that there are a bunch of good things coming. Maybe that's the case. I just find it suspicious that we've had nothing for 9 months. Then all of a sudden, Trump says, Bondi, are you going to indict anybody? And then we get a shitty 2-count indictment. 2 counts. It's garbage. We also saw what she did with Diddy. She threw the Diddy case. She threw it. It's just absolutely threw it. She let Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter, run it to run cover for this. She's told me that there's no Epstein files. She's told me that there were Epstein files. She told me that there's a truckload of Epstein files. She told me that they're gone. I mean, she's been all over the place. I have seen nothing from Pam Bondi or this DOJ that gives me trust. So people are giving me a hard time. Renz, why aren't you ecstatic about this? It's not because I don't want James Comey in jail. It's not because I don't realize that there could be a superseding indictment. It's because I don't trust that there's going to be. And I want to be proven wrong. I hope Bondi comes through and ends up being the greatest AG ever. And I hope I can come back on this show and say, man, was I wrong? She's turned it around. She's a machine. I hope I can say that. Right now, I think she should be fired. I don't see her doing anything. This 2-count indictment is nothing to me. Unless there's a superseding indictment with a bunch more, or unless Comey turns on some really big people, this is meaningless to me. I'm sorry, guys. It's 9 months. You want me to trust the government. Why? Why? Like we trusted George W. Bush after 9/11? I trust Donald Trump.
Bruh.
I don't trust our government. I don't at all. I trust Donald Trump. I trust he's trying to do the right thing. I trust that he's pushing. I trust that he's getting somewhere. I do not trust our government. I do not trust Pam Bondi or Susie Wiles. Right now, I don't. I hope I'm wrong about both of them. But right now, I see no reason to trust either of them. None whatsoever. So until I see a little bit more, I'm not going to celebrate. You got this Mike Davis. Oh, look she's got bigger balls than all the Republican men in Washington. Well, that's not saying much. Not much at all. And by the way, no, let me remind you of RFK and Donald Trump. But, and there's a lot of good people, my friends, people who I love and support saying, listen, this is part of a plan. And I've heard that from credible places. I am going to continue pushing until I see action. When I see a superseding indictment, I see Comey turn, I see Obama charge or Clinton charge, I see Pfizer charge, I see Gates charge, I see Soros charge, and not just charge, but then seeing follow through in the trial. When I see some real consequences, that's when I'm going to lighten up and quit pressuring. Until then, it is our duty to pressure. After 9/11, we all went to sleep, and it led to Obama. It led to Obamacare. It led to all the undermining of the first Trump administration. It led to COVID and the 2020 election steal. We trusted our government. We shouldn't have. You tell me where I'm wrong, folks. Tell me. You tell me why we should blindly trust an AG that for 9 months has done nothing, worked for Pfizer, sailed through confirmation, and has not proven that she can do anything. Why should I trust that? You tell me that. When you figure that out, when you can give me a good reason for that, I'll apologize. I'll move on. But I haven't seen one yet. Right now, I need to see some real, not just action. I need to see follow through. I need to see something done because my trust has been broken. I gave her the benefit of the doubt because Donald Trump appointed her. But right now, how do I know that a lot of people who have more knowledge than me say it's part of a plan. But it's interesting that plan didn't kick in until after Donald Trump says, hey, Bondi, are you going to do anything? So, go ahead. Tell me it's part of a plan. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I don't get it. I'm just not seeing it, folks. And I'm not going to go back to sleep and pretend I'm okay with this. I'm not gonna. I'm just done with that. So let's see what happens. Let's pray that I'm wrong. Let's pray that Bondi gets it all together and this becomes spectacular. But for right now, it's our duty to keep pressure up until such time as action and consequences and follow through all occur. So, all right. Lots of show today. I figure this will be either a love or hate show. Please share the show. Get it out there. Share it on Rumble. Share it on Truth Social. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Instagram. Share it everywhere. Get this show out there. Support us at TomRenz.com and GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you for watching the Tom Renz Show. Join us live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, putting an axe in the skull of tyranny.